Have you ever wondered who you would be if you unleashed your full potential? Think about it for a moment. What would you be able to achieve? What would your life be like if all your skills, talents, and inner strengths were completely aligned, with no internal or external barriers to hold you back? This idea may seem utopian, but let's explore a scenario in which this is possible, a vision in which you truly unleash your full potential. And to make it more interesting, let's use one of the most iconic characters from the Star Wars saga as an example: Anakin Skywalker. Imagine what would have become of Anakin if he hadn't succumbed to the dark side of the Force, if he had truly reached the peak of his power and wisdom. When we talk about potential, it's important to think about what really prevents us from reaching that higher level of existence. For Anakin, fear and doubt were the biggest barriers. These emotions ate away at him, diverted him from the path of light, and led him to destruction. But what if Anakin had managed to master these feelings? What if he had found a way to channel his immense power and potential without allowing fear and anger to control him? His life would be completely different. Perhaps he would have become the most powerful Jedi of all time, not because of brute strength, but because of inner balance. Now, stop for a moment and think. What in your life prevents you from accessing your full potential? We all face our own fears, doubts, and distractions. These are the things that, just as happened to Anakin, can divert us from the path. Awakening your potential isn't just about doing more, achieving more, or standing out from the crowd. It's about finding an inner balance, about winning the internal battles we fight every day. You may not realize it now, but the real limitations lie more in your mind and heart than in the outside world. But what would the process of awakening this potential look like? In the Star Wars saga, the Jedi talk a lot about connecting with the Force. They believe that by connecting with the Force, they can access a source of unlimited energy and knowledge. Anakin, in his prime, could have become the Jedi who would bring balance to the galaxy, as was prophesied. He had the power, the ability, but lacked the emotional control. He lacked the inner discipline to balance his emotional side with his power. The same can be said about us. Awakening our potential involves understanding and mastering these inner forces. If you allow your emotions to take control, you will never reach your true potential. Emotions, as powerful as they are volatile. They change according to circumstances, and if you let them get the better of you, you'll always be reacting to what happens around you, rather than acting with purpose. This is exactly what happened to Anakin. His uncontrolled emotions caused him to make impulsive decisions, such as his alliance with the Emperor, which ended up destroying what he could have been. The key to reaching your potential lies in balance, not instinctive reaction. Imagine if Anakin had learned to control his emotions with the guidance of Obi-Wan, Yoda, or even Qui-Gon Jinn, who has always been more sensitive to human emotions. Anakin would have been able to use his passion as a driving force without letting it turn him into something he didn't want to be. He could have become a Jedi Master who would inspire future generations while keeping his humanity intact. And that's how awakening our potential can work too. Emotion is not our enemy, but when mismanaged, it can become an insurmountable obstacle. The secret is to find a balance. When you are dominated by emotions such as anger, fear, or sadness, your ability to think clearly is overshadowed. It's as if you're walking in the middle of a storm, where everything around you is blurred, making it difficult to see your next steps. Anakin was engulfed by this emotional storm, and it took him away from his true path. Instead of mastering his emotions, he became their slave, and this prevented him from accessing all the power he had within himself. The same is true for all of us. Emotions are an important part of who we are, but they shouldn't control us. Now ask yourself, who would you be if you found that balance? If you, like Anakin could have done, mastered your own fears, your own inner limitations, how would your life be different? Perhaps you would see yourself achieving goals that previously seemed unattainable, connecting better with the people around you, creating more meaningful relationships, being a stronger, wiser, and more balanced version of yourself. The awakening of your potential is not somewhere far away. It is within reach, but it requires discipline, self-knowledge, and the desire to face your own shadows. Anakin, on the other hand, fell into the shadows because he never dealt with his deepest fears. He let himself be carried away by the promise of immediate power, without realizing that true power comes from self-control and inner peace. And what does this teach us? That awakening our potential is not a race to see who can get there the fastest, but a journey of patience and growth. By learning to master our emotions, just as Anakin could have done, we make room for genuine growth, where our inner strength aligns with our goals. Emotional control is the fundamental pillar for accessing your potential. It's not about repressing what you feel, but about recognizing your emotions, understanding them, and, instead of reacting impulsively, acting wisely. Anakin didn't understand this lesson, and his quest for power was distorted by the fear of losing those he loved. He never learned that true power comes from the ability to remain calm and make considered decisions, even in the face of chaos. When you learn to master your emotions, instead of being controlled by them, you open up to a much more powerful version of yourself. By allowing your emotions to control your decisions, you are putting your life in the hands of external factors, always reacting to what happens instead of creating your own path. Imagine what your life would be like if, instead of being overwhelmed by anger or frustration, you were able to maintain mental clarity and make decisions based on wisdom and balance. This is the true path to awakening your potential. You need to be the master of your emotions, not the other way around. Only then will you be able to access the fullness of who you really are and live a life guided by inner strength, not emotional storms. And now, imagine the impact this awakening would have on your life. How would your choices be different? What would you do differently if you were fully connected with your own version of the Force, that energy that guides you, inspires you, and propels you forward? Perhaps you have felt moments of this connection, those flashes of intuition, those situations in which you seem to know exactly what to do, as if you were in tune with something greater. These moments are no coincidence. They are small glimpses of what can be when you truly access your potential. What Anakin didn't realize was that the power to change his own life and the fate of the galaxy had always been within him. Like us, he lost himself in the fear of losing, in the desire to control the uncontrollable. If he had looked inwards and accepted that true power comes from within, from a greater connection with the Force, he would have become not only the most powerful Jedi, but also the wisest. What about you? Who would you be if you found that connection with the Force? What would your life be like if, instead of fighting your emotions, you channeled them in a balanced way? At the end of the day, awakening your potential is about accepting who you really are and learning to work with your own limitations, rather than fighting against them. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos, strength in vulnerability, and purpose in adversity. Anakin could have been the Jedi who brought balance to the galaxy if he had learned these lessons. But now, you have the chance to do what he didn't. Awaken your potential. The galaxy you can transform is your own life. Remembering that if you want to go deeper into your connection with the Force, in the comment box attached to this video, there is a step-by-step guide to starting from scratch and reaching a deep state of meditation. May the Force be with you.